Someone just said, "Oh my gosh!" Yes, indeed. And we're at a crossroads right now.
Yes, yes.
We're going to choose saving this country and standing up and working our tails off for the next 4.5 months to save our country, or we're going to go, well, I don't want to really ruffle feathers. I think I'll just maybe show up and vote, and that's going to be it. And then I believe, like Ronald Reagan used to say, we're headed toward 1,000 years of darkness. I'm choosing the other path. I'm choosing the fight. Go in and take incoming. We're asking you to get out and talk. I'm assuming if you're here that you already feel like, we're not going in the right direction, that we want to go back to those America First policies where we all had a little extra money in our bank account, where our streets were safer, where our border was secure, where our police were fully funded, they were being defunded, where we had somebody in the White House who actually was cognitively, intelligent. And if you're here, you're missing those days. Am I right about that? Yeah. How many of you are Trump supporters? I can't wait to tell them that. In what's called a liberal city, although I don't believe Sedona's liberal. They call it a liberal city, and there's a bunch of Trump supporters. How many of you are new Trump supporters because you're realizing Biden's not delivering? Come here, give me a hug. We welcome you into the America First movement. And this is what we have to do, guys. I want to welcome everybody. And they tried to say I'm divisive, and it's because actually they're so afraid of a fed-up, middle-aged mom. We're the most dangerous species on the planet. I used to say that the most dangerous place in all of nature is between a mama bear and her baby cub. Because if you get in between a mama bear and her baby cub, you're very likely to be ripped to shreds. But now I think the most dangerous species is a mother or father and their children. And the left has found themselves with some of these policies going after our kids. And they've awoken the mothers of the world. Mothers who are already busy packing school lunches, maybe they're planning a summer vacation right now, trying to make sure their kids are staying on the straight and narrow, making sure the laundry's done, maybe working at the same time. And now they've had to add to their to-do list, saving America. But we'll do it. We're going to jump in and do it, but we're going to be a real pain in their asses while we're doing it. Because we're not going to let them take our children's future. Am I right about that? I'm not willing to let these people take our country, drive it into the ground, steer us straight into communism, and just sit back and go, well, I guess I'll just vote and see what happens. We've got to take control of the situation. I just, on my way out here, I don't know if they're still over there, ran into two beautiful little babies. One of them was probably 8 months old, and one of them just a couple weeks old. And I remembered back to when my 19 and 21-year-olds were that age, and how you all of a sudden realize that what you are working toward is so much bigger than yourself. And that's why I think it's going to be so important for moms and dads to step up right now. Those ones are going to have their hands tied up for the next 4.5 months, but they're going to get involved. But it's going to be all of us who are moms and dads who don't want to watch our country fall into the wrong direction and leave our kids with nothing. So since it's hot out here, I'm going to just lay out a couple of my ideas, and I have a feeling that we might be on the same page on this. I want to make sure our border's secure again. I miss having a secure border.
Yeah!
I don't know, I'm going to be honest, I don't know anybody who wants that border open. I don't even think there's a Democrat on the planet other than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I don't think the real, true, old-school Democrats want that border open. We don't want to have 10 million, 12 million people pouring in who we don't even know who they are. Many of them are terrorists, criminals pouring in from other countries. That's not how our immigration policy should work. We're going to get back to a common sense immigration policy, but we're going to secure the border starting on day one, finish the wall, remain in Mexico, no more catch and release. It's a super easy thing to fix. They want us to think these problems are impossible to fix. You just have to have the will to do it and a little bit of common sense, and you can do it. Secondarily, I want to make sure our streets are safe again. I'm running against a guy named Ruben Gallego. I know, I say the same thing. Most people don't even know who he is, but when you find out who he is, you don't want him. He is the congressman in central downtown Phoenix, fastest growing homeless population. It's fastest growing. He's done nothing for the veterans and the people living on the street except let that fester into a bigger problem. Quality of life is terrible for his constituents. He wants that for the whole state. And he's open borders, pro-sanctuary city, said he would never, ever, ever, yes, he said it 3 times like a 13-year-old girl, never, ever, ever fund the border wall, called it dumb and stupid. And then he marched and defund the police rallies. I mean, that's actually, in my opinion, disqualifying. If you want to defund our police, make our communities less safe, you don't need to be in office. Go become a radical. Go become a radical, but you're not fit for office if you want to defund our police. We want to fully fund our police. I want to make sure the streets of Sedona, I want to make sure the streets of Cornville, I want to make sure the streets of Camp Verde, Flagstaff, Phoenix are as safe as possible so that we can actually go out as tax-paying citizens and enjoy the beauty of our state and the quality of life that we deserve to have. And since I said the word tax, my least favorite thing, are taxes, President Trump gave us the biggest tax cuts we've ever seen in our lifetimes. I think, maybe some old people here, but I'm thinking most of the people look about my age. Biggest tax cut we've ever seen was given to us by President Trump. That expires in January of 25. Gallego and Biden, even though Biden probably doesn't remember saying this, have both said they're going to let those tax cuts expire. Raise your hand if you can afford a 20 or 30% tax increase in January. I'm looking for one hand. His hand's not up, he's just recording. Nobody can afford that, nobody wants that. Heck, we can barely afford groceries and our rent and our mortgage right now and our gas prices. So we can't let these people in office. And I know that we won't. I know that we're going to show up and vote. So I'm going to ask you some favors right now. How many of you are going to show up and vote? First of all, in July for the primary. We do have a primary. We're way up, but you know how it goes in Arizona. Even if you're way up, you got to get out and vote. Got to get out and vote in that primary. I need your vote. I'm endorsed by President Trump. I'm endorsed by some of the greatest fighters in our movement. If you're MAGA, I've got all the MAGA people behind me.
I'm
MAGA.
Woo!
Over here. I just had Senator Mike Lee out, and he's one of the fighters, Utah Senator, born in Mesa. He came out and campaigned with me. Tommy Tuberville, Matt Gaetz. I've got, of course, President Trump. And I have people who are middle of the road as well. Biggest lie that they tell about me is that I'm divisive. I'm not. Now, some people say, well, I want you to be divisive. We're going to go there and fight. Yes, I am going to go to D.C. and fight. I'm not looking for friends. I don't want to become friends with lobbyists. My special interest group is the people of Arizona.
Yeah.
And here's what I figured out about what happens in D.C. We send people there, we vote for them, we think they're tough, and we find out they're actually wimps. They go there, and on day one, or right before they get there, they get bribed, blackmailed, or they get scared by the media. There's nothing they can bribe me over. I've already walked away from a 7-figure contract when I left the world of the fake news and told them, take this job and shove it. They actually did try to bribe me as I was jumping into the Senate race with whatever amount of money I wanted to stay out of it. And I also told them where to go, and I pardon the French that I used. I used some choice words on that. I apologize. There's no blackmail material on me. If I had blackmail material, trust me, they would have already used it. And I'm not afraid of what the media says. Usually what happens is you're going to take your first tough vote, and if you stand up and do the right thing, the media, the Washington Post, Politico, they write a nasty story about you, and immediately you cower and you fold. I get nasty stories written about me every single day. That's just another Tuesday morning for me, so I'm not worried about what the media says. What I am worried about is my kids' future, the future of this great state, and I want the people of Arizona to know that when I'm in D.C., I am solely working for this state to make it the most secure state, not the most beautiful state. I think God's got that one covered.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do in D.C. is going to make it more beautiful. I want to make it the most secure state. I want to make it the best state to start a business, to operate a business. I want to make it the best state to start a family and grow a family. And I want to make it a safe and secure and prosperous state like it used to be. How many of you remember back when it used to be kind of old school, prosperous, great, affordable? Remember when Arizona was affordable? Even Sedona was a little bit affordable, not anymore. But so that's going to be my goal. With that, because I could talk forever, I'm originally from Iowa, and that means. Hi, how many Midwesterners here?
Yeah!
Somebody just boo that. If you did, come here. No, I consider myself in Arizona through and through, but I'm so glad I had that upbringing. The youngest of 9, So I learned a thing or two about having to work with people, because when you're in a family that big, you don't always get your way. And so recently on the campaign trail, somebody said, "Can you compromise though? Can you negotiate and can you compromise?" I said, I'm from a family of 8. I never got, or 9. I never got what I wanted. In a family of 9, it's all compromise. If you get a little bit of what you want, you feel good about it. But I also believe that there are some things you can compromise on. Maybe it's a tax cut. Maybe it's this, or we go here, we go here. We can compromise and work around that. But when it comes to our national security and a secure border for the people of Arizona, when it comes to wanting to keep the fentanyl out and the cartels out, I don't know how you compromise on that. And if you want to compromise on a secure border and national security, I wonder if you are compromised, right? Why would we compromise on whether we're going to keep our border secure? That to me seems like 100% got to do it, and that's where I stand on that. And then there are many issues that I think we can find compromise. The bottom line, though, is I believe that all Arizonans, even the most Democrat Arizonan out there to the most hardcore Republican, I think we agree on 80% of everything. We tend to concentrate on the 20% we disagree on. And then when we take the Republicans, we agree on 95% of everything. But right now, there's this desire, and I think the media plays into it, for us to just focus on what do we disagree on. And when you start with where you have common ground and agreement and start getting things accomplished there, it's so much easier then to work on the things you disagree on. And then you have a relationship built and you can start to dig through and work on that. So that's my kind of philosophy. Would love to take some questions, and I would love to take a bottle of water. Oh, here it is.
Just give us our